I've noticed that it usually scrapes more text than anything else.
Okay, welcome back to the Marketing Playbook presented by Power Digital and Attentive. Here you'll take away 3 game-winning marketing plays every episode to take back to your team. I'm your host, Mark Friedman, and my career has been focused on direct-to-consumer marketing, direct mail, physical retail, and digital commerce. This is episode number 129, and my guest is Prieeyya Kaur Kesh. Prieeyya is the founder of OurWave, a Canadian edtech venture that she launched in 2018 in Toronto. She is known as an education futurist and champion of skills-based learning. Born and raised in Malaysia to Punjabi Malaysian parents, she moved to Canada at age 18, quickly embracing volunteer and entrepreneurial opportunities before starting OurWave. She's focused on digital literacy, emerging tech leadership, and workforce transition. The work she's doing to help companies understand the value of AI today and its role in the future will be discussed in the show. I hope that you enjoy the conversation. Before we get started, a quick thank you, as always, to Max Brandstetter of the Wild Business Growth Podcast for producing this episode. You can reach him at max@maxpodcasting.com to help bring your podcast to life. Let's open the playbook. Ready, break. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the Marketing Playbook Podcast. Today, I'm joined by Prieeyya Kaur Kesh. Prieeyya is a technology entrepreneur and education futurist focused on the evolving intersection of AI and creativity in marketing. As founder of OurWave, she leads initiatives that prepare marketing and advertising professionals to become creative technologists, fluent in both AI and marketing at depth. Under her leadership, OurWave has partnered with the Government of Ontario, Apple Canada, and leading universities to deliver large-scale upskilling through co-branded credential programs. Her insights on skills-based learning and workforce development are featured in the work of organizations like People for Education and Credential Engine. Prieeyya has spoken at Harvard University, Brown University, and more than 65 major conferences across North America, and is a trusted voice for marketing leaders seeking to future-proof their teams and leverage AI. Prieeyya, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me.
This is going to be super interesting. We're recording this show pretty much the end of July 2025, and I can't get through my LinkedIn feed or whatever stuff I read without hearing artificial intelligence, AI. So this is going to be super timely. I've done almost 130 shows, and we start the show every single time the same way. We get the first story from our guests. So tell us how you grew up and how the role and the career that you've developed might have been foreshadowed in the way you were growing up.
I grew up in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I think where I'm at today was honestly completely unimaginable for me as a kid. I think what was the foundation that led to my career now was honestly asking why and having curiosity. I was extremely curious about how the world worked, and grew up I'm the eldest of 3 girls, and in a Punjabi Indian family, which means the doctor, engineer, lawyer stereotype is very real. And so a career in technology and entrepreneurship was not only not encouraged, but it was outside of my realm of imagination. And I think what teed up all of the work I do today was understanding that all the things we have today, somebody else created, which means I can create something too. Initially, it started as sciences and my interest in physics and biology. And then as I moved to Toronto, Canada by myself at 18, and my first introduction to honestly entrepreneurship and tech as a career was at a hackathon, which for the marketer listeners is like a 2-3 day event where creatives, technologists, everyone sort of camp out at a location and hack stuff. You use technology to solve problems, and I was completely blown away. And that led to everything after an internship, part-time jobs, and then starting my own thing.
That's great. So let's go back to, did you go to higher education in the States or in your home country?
In Canada, I went to the University of Toronto here. I was a science major. I went to school for molecular biology, like quite literally down the path of potentially becoming a doctor. Around my second year is when I went to this event, the hackathon, and then shortly after, I got an internship for a co-working space and sort of started my career that way.
So the first role was doing what?
I was at a co-working space just outside of Toronto, and my role was to create and design a 12-week co-op program. And co-op in the Ontario education system means that every grader, 11 or 12 student, has to do a set number of hours of a work credit instead of sort of them doing these jobs that are like get the coffee or donuts or photocopy stuff, right? The co-founders of the space I was working at, co-working space as in a WeWork type of situation. And so my role in that was around 16 high schools in Brampton was the city that this was happening at. We're saying, hey, we have students, do you have an opportunity for them? And so my role was to design a 12-week curriculum around digital careers, and do it in a project-based or problem-based way, and take them through sort of a 12-week experience and curriculum, and bring in speakers who are from industry across branding, advertising, and just expose them to sort of how the dots connect post high school, because these were high school students. So my role was in creating and delivering that program.
Okay, great. And the consumer of that program were students? Is that you created, you crafted the structure for the university, and then were you teaching as well?
Some of it, yeah. Like I would facilitate a lot of the conversations around like failure, happiness, debates, like engaging these students. They would come to the office every single day. So every single day I sat with them for an hour and really helped hone how they communicated. And on top of sort of that track of exploring these key themes would be the subject matter experts. So marketing, advertising professionals, branding folks. There was a guy who owned a branding agency in the space, came to speak to the students. And then another track on top of this, all of this happening sort of at the same time, was they would create a project or they would solve a problem that they cared about and submit it by the end of it.
That's amazing. So, just in the frame of the years that have passed, when was this all going on?
2016, 17.
Okay, so we got 8, 9 years here between then and now. And what did you do to bridge the gap prior to starting Our Wave?
I didn't start it right away. This was around 2016, I think, was the year. And so I started Our Wave in 2018. And the 2 years in between, I got recruited essentially to do what I did for this co-working space in Brampton. Through my work there, I also managed events and got to build relationships with vice presidents and presidents of universities. From that, I got recruited into a role at an organization called the Ontario Centre for Innovation to manage one of the largest innovation conferences in Canada. So event-based role. From there, I got recruited to be an executive director at a national nonprofit. And all of this, I was 22 at the time. And so all of this is just learning on the job. Like I didn't go to school for any of this. I don't have a business degree, and everything I just sort of jumped into the fire and learned as I went. And then from that nonprofit executive director role was when I was at the crossroads of, well, I could keep going from job to job, or I could take the leap of faith and start something now and do essentially what I've been doing for other people under an umbrella that I would own. And so that's what I did.
Today's episode is brought to you by Power Digital, the growth partner for brands that refuse to settle. At the intersection of marketing, consulting, and data intelligence, Power Digital is where brands go to ignite revenue and scale fast. Their proprietary technology, Nova, transforms first-party data into clear, actionable insights, fueling smarter strategies, better investment decisions, and measurable growth. Power Digital's team of data scientists, creatives, and growth strategists challenge outdated marketing playbooks, delivering results that matter. If you're ready for an agency to turn your data into a competitive advantage, visit powerdigitalmarketing.com. Let's talk about our wave, right? How would you describe what's the elevator pitch of our wave and, kind of its reason for being?
The reason for being is education is, as we know it, is very static. As you know, and you just said, AI and technology is all over everybody's feeds and what everyone is thinking about. And so what our wave exists to do is create sort of bite-sized, simple to learn education for anyone, honestly, anyone around technology. And the technology of the day is today it's AI. Previous to AI, we were teaching no code, which is the ability to build and ship products sort of through drag and drop. The whole mission here is digital literacy for all, right? Like if more people who don't necessarily identify as technologists or tech savvy can understand that it's not as scary or intimidating as it's branded to be. My thesis was the more people will be able to have mobility in their careers and agency over their lives. And so that's why our wave exists.
Right. And so who are the users of your skills, your capabilities? And is there a particular vertical that you're mostly focused in?
From 2018 to 2021, it was mostly students. From 2021 to, I would say, 2023, all of our projects were around mid-career workers. So folks who had worked a couple of years and had been, so they're not recent graduates, but they have, let's say, 3 to 5 years in the workforce, want to do a quick course to learn something very specific, and then either use that to pivot in their career or get promoted. Now, and I guess the shift in focus between 2023 to now has been leaders, so C-suite executives around AI, because like all of this has really sort of exploded into the mainstream in the last 18 to 24 months. And that shift in how AI is creating a ripple effect in the workforce starts with how leaders are choosing to build teams, hire people, invest in AI solutions, training, et cetera, et cetera. So it's evolved over the years, long story short, but right now we focus on teaching marketing leaders around AI specifically. The disciplines that we've taught until now has been product design and marketing, with the thesis that if we can teach sort of anyone to build and sell as core skills, right? Like you could build a digital product and you could sell through whatever you learn under fundamentals of marketing, that you would be agile and adaptable to whatever change the workforce brings. Sort of bringing that a similar perspective into the work we do with leaders today. Product design, marketing, sort of powered by AI.
Interesting. I've got about 1,000 questions I want to ask you after that, but let's go back to the one question that I had mentioned. Is there a particular vertical? Is it retail, CPG? Anything that's presented itself more or less than others?
More than not, it's D2C e-com brands. I think it's mostly because their focus around AI is how do you use AI for personalization, to consolidate the data, to make cross-channel work seamless. And so I think there's an immediate appetite for work in that vertical. But our work really spans, it's vertical agnostic, industry agnostic, but function specific, as in AI for marketing in whatever vertical or industry.
Okay, well, that's perfect because I've spent most of my career in D2C types of marketing. First, very early on, pre-web, pre-digital,
Wow.
it was catalog. Yeah, well, the gray hair here doesn't suggest I was born yesterday. I've made the transition over my career quite a long time ago, into digital, and now, with AI, there's, yet further pivots. But so for an e-commerce business, and many of those people will be listening to this, how are you helping them? What are the questions they are coming to you to get solutions for?
Almost honestly, every project is around three things. One is, how do we scale our capacity, like without hiring more people? So can we either buy AI tools or create a tool stack that scales our output, whether it's creative output or research output or whatever you define the output as, without sort of increasing headcount? That's usually the first question, is what can I do today with the team I have and whatever's out there. Two is around, like I said, data consolidation. D2C e-com brands have so many cohorts and segments of customers. And so how do I either train an AI to be those segments and do price and positioning testing and optimization sort of with AI before launching stuff? Sort of the second, like 2B part of that is orchestration. So like, how do I, across all of my customer touch points, create a seamless flow of data into sort of a central dashboard and make it useful with AI? And the third component is sort of, can AI help with creative in any way, like video generation, image generation, maybe both? There are tools that are AI ad makers. There are entire ads that are made by AI. And so those are usually the three, almost every brand that we work with, those are the three questions we get asked first, and usually the scope of our work.
Right. So, it's funny as you were talking about, how AI can, do things to, relieve headcount. There's going to be a point in time where, and I can feel it already, where headcount is going to increase for a period of time, because now that all these tools are out there, the simplest of them, ChatGPT or Grok or whatever, your flavor is, the amount of information that you can get out of it so quickly, almost requires somebody to be the expert within your team.
To synthesize, yeah.
Right, to synthesize and to make it hum and to add the right prompts in there. I have a client we're working on, something right now, and my basic prompts were good, but not enough. But when you really can refine the prompts, I mean, you can get, pre-made PowerPoints with all the information. It's incredible. So I think there's going to be this moment in time when there's going to be an ask to increase headcount to get the experts. But then once you have these experts, who knows what will happen. So let's hit on perhaps, a current client or a recent client. They came to you with one of those 3 or 4 different questions in their mind. Where have you helped them reduce or increase output in creative content, for example?
So I'll leave the name of the brand out of it, but the work around sort of what tools can we adopt like right now to help with creative output. One is an AI ad maker called Icon. I think a lot of these CMOs and heads of marketing that I'm in touch with all understand the value, and AI is top of mind for them around using ChatGPT, but they want to go beyond. And so the tools that I'm going to recommend are all not ChatGPT for that reason. Not saying I don't recommend ChatGPT, right? Like everybody is sort of, that's the baseline today, but a lot of our work is around tools that are much more function specific. So one is Icon, using Canva in sort of a much deeper way for non-technicals. There's AI already within Canva. In terms of agentic stuff, it's more on the research side, like Perplexity Labs is a new agent feature out of Perplexity. Similarly, all of the other big sort of tech company tools have agents today. And so the role of AI agents in creative output and sort of curating insights for you to then use for creative and storytelling and strategy is sort of where the biggest role is. And then, yeah, and then testing, the A/B testing sort of on a high volume scale for these brands of like, can we test AI creative with human creative and see, what works better, how and where, and then double down on whatever's working best. And so it's approaching using AI in teams with a very sort of observational, open-minded, and kind of empirical approach of like, can we use AI to create more stuff and then test it and see what works and then double down. So it's not necessarily using AI to replace everything, is my approach.
Got it. And are you finding that the people that are using, your services and seeing these tools that you're bringing them, are they casually trying to get into this, or are they realizing they need to be headfirst, aggressively figuring out how this is going to help their business?
Oh, it's usually the second. It's usually they're aggressively figuring out how to use AI and they've hit a wall. So they want folks who are technologists and in the space to sort of bridge the gap. Every brand that we've worked with is never exploring it casually. They've already like explored and are testing it in ways themselves and hit a ceiling of like, well, we just don't know what's out there anymore. And maybe we can work with someone who does and just test, experiment, and create that culture of experimentation as part of the organization, the marketing org.
Imagine getting a message from your favorite brand that feels like it was created just for you. That's the kind of personalized experience Attentive helps retailers create, especially during the biggest shopping season of the year. With Black Friday and Cyber Monday around the corner, retailers need to reliably connect with their customers, not just during the holiday rush, but all year long. Attentive's SMS and email marketing platform turns customer data into real conversations by capturing what matters most to each subscriber, then helping you reach them with the right message at exactly the right moment. No generic blasts, just personalized experiences that make customers feel truly understood. The result? Stronger connections that drive real results during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and beyond. Visit attentive.com to see what your customer data can do. One of the things I hear a lot about, especially in the D2C retail space, is how Google is changing for customers,
Search.
trying to search, for particular
Yeah.
products. And look, over time, it used to be dress, then it was blue dress, then it was blue dress with short sleeves and zippers. Now it's I don't necessarily start my search at Google. I might start it in a chat GPT. So how are you helping brands, if you are at this point, helping them become findable in these agent tools?
Great question. So AI search is top of mind for all brands that we're in touch with. The way we are adding value here is one sort of backtracking around AI search. It's sort of the behavior now is going to a tool like ChatGPT and Perplexity and asking it in natural language to find you stuff. And as a result, how sort of the data on the back end is labeled and matched is happening differently. And there are a couple of tools that we sort of teach brands and help them adopt. One is it's called Profound, and one is called Peak AI. They're both at different price points, but they kind of do the same thing, where they help you test prompts and kind of, in a similar SEO dashboard way, show you where you rank relative to other folks and other brands and give you metrics around your visibility in search, like in these search responses. And the only thing you could really do as a brand to optimize for that is to get onto lists and have publicly available content that LLMs can search the web and scrape for and then use in their responses. And so how you get visible as brands here then is creating content that creates brand association to categories, and then testing with tools like Peak and Profound. And I think it's going to change and become even like these big tech tools like tools from OpenAI and Perplexity are going to have probably their own native AI search tools soon. But yeah, right now that's sort of a top couple of ways we're doing that.
Have you produced what I would call the recipe or the primer? So brand X, here are the 20 things that you need to do in order to be findable in consumer searches. Because I work with, tons of different retailers and they're all, they all have the same, thing. I need to produce content for Substack and in Reddit and whatever, but they don't know what's really the driving force behind what's showing to a customer.
Yeah. Trying and testing out these two tools, like I said, PKI and Profound, kind of helps you see behind the curtain a little bit of like, it shows you like where the sources it's scraping from, where you rank relative to other brands in their responses, and sort of what people are searching for, like what people are prompting for. And so you can reverse engineer your content to what people are prompting for. And right now, that's pretty much the most you can do. And I've noticed that although you can search and interact with AI tools in a multimodal way, so text, video, image, etc., I've noticed that it usually scrapes more text than anything else. So getting onto articles or features that are all text-based is what I find that has worked better than, yeah, scraping video sources and things like that.
One of the things, as we prepped, for the show, we talked about something called the 10X marketer and vibe coding.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
So vibe coding, it's a new category of behavior where people who are not software developers or technical folks can build products through just prompting it. And a couple of tools that enable this are one, my favorite, it's Lovable. Another tool is called Base 44. In fact, Base 44 was just recently acquired by Wiz for $80 million. And they had only been running, I think, maybe less than a year. And Bolt.dev, there are a couple of, there's a sort of category forming of these tools where they are prompt to app type experiences. So in a sentence, if you say, create a dashboard for me to review and manage my brand's reputation across search and social, I don't know, I'm making this up, right? Like you can prompt whatever app you want to create, like a daily habit tracker, finance tracker, whatever. It does that via generative code live, and it actually fixes its own bugs live. So that's sort of vibe coding. And the translation to what it means for vibe marketing is you could set up these workflow automations and have agents sort of running in the background in addition to all of your work around experiential storytelling, strategy, and creative. And it's sort of already doing the work in the background with no additional work once it's set up. And so that's sort of what vibe marketing means. The same thing of like sort of prompting and setting it up once and letting it do its thing. An example tool is NADEN. It's a workflow automation tool. There's a lot of marketing use cases on there and templates. You could see what people are already doing in terms of, one example I saw that was interesting is creating an automation that scrapes Reddit data for insights around your customer segment and then feeding it to either a Slack channel or a Notion dashboard or something for you to view maybe weekly to see what's happening. And then that informs content creation and strategy overall.
Very cool. That's interesting. So where do you take it from here, right? So you've got an organization, Our Wave. Is Our Wave you, or do you have some other folks that are a part of the team?
Yeah, Our Wave, for now, it's me. I grew it from 0 to over 25 employees. And in 2023, I hit a period of burnout and took a break. And so right now it's in reboot season and it's just me. We're actively looking to expand and create a presence in the US, in New York City specifically. And so I'm in the phase of doing that. I'm starting a second company called SkillStack. And on the other side of creating and teaching AI and technology, the opportunity I see is to use applied AI in a way to understand and create sort of a next gen HR technology. And so that's what I'm doing. Of how can I use AI to make hiring simpler, better, faster? And that's what I'm working on. So it kind of goes hand in hand, learning and hiring.
So if you had a crystal ball and we were sitting here a year from now, and maybe we should book a reboot in a
That would be
year,
crazy, right? Yeah.
what do you think, we're going to be talking about, next year?
I think we'd be talking about the chief AI officer role at agencies and at organizations. Maybe it's not a singular full time role yet, and maybe it's sort of coupled with another role, but definitely we're talking about how that happened. We're also talking about how cool some marketing AI agents have come out to be, and sort of next generation brand experiences you can create as a result. I think we're also maybe talking about consumer AI. Like there's a big push for consumer AI and sort of that category, super intelligence. I don't know, I could go on and on. There's so much happening in tech, and its crossover for marketing is most interesting to me because it's like the perfect collision of human ingenuity with tech capability.
We're down to the end of the show. We do a 2-minute drill. Prieeyya, 7 questions, 1-word answer. Are you ready?
Okay, ready.
All right. A brand that you admire or that inspires you.
Loewe.
Favorite app on your phone.
Pinterest.
Last website other than Amazon that you shopped from.
Pet value for my dog.
I think I heard the dog crying in the background there.
Oh no, yeah, she's in the room next to me.
All good. Something that you're not good at but wish that you were.
Running.
Charitable organization that you're passionate about.
Girls Who Code.
If you had one superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
Other than family, what's your most prized possession?
I'd say my books.
And where can people reach out to you on social media, Prieeyya, if they'd like to?
LinkedIn, Instagram. My first name is spelt so interestingly that I feel like if you just search that across anywhere, you'll find me.
Okay. And Prieeyya's first name is spelled Prieeyya. Her full name is Kaur Kesh, so Kaur, and Kesh, Kesh. But I'm sure you guys will see it in all the publicity for our show. Prieeyya, it was great to meet you. Thanks for the time.
You too.
And look forward to staying in touch with you.
Thank you.
That's it. Today's game ball goes to Prieeyya Kaur Kesh for coming on the Marketing Playbook. To me, today's 3 game-winning marketing plays were as follows. Number 1, you need to be curious to grow your career. You cannot sit back and wait for opportunities to come to you. You need to make your own chances to evolve and grow your skills. Prieeyya spoke about her start and what drove her into the AI space, and it was all about her curiosity. She did not fear the unknown, she embraced it, and so can you. And number 2, I like the idea of the Chief AI Officer. Its time might be a bit into the future, but companies are for sure assigning internal teams to figure out the best ways to leverage AI. It could be in the form of producing reports. It could be writing content. It could be helping to execute and analyze A/B tests. It could be simply the stimulation of ideas for marketing campaigns. Whatever it is for your company, you must devote human resources so you can become up to speed on the value of AI. I think that in many cases, before the AI reduces headcount, it might in fact add to headcount so that you can work on all the ideas that come from your learnings. And number 3, most retailers are now looking for the best way to get found within the AI tools like ChatGPT and others. Search will continue to evolve such that many people have started to search for items they want to buy on ChatGPT. But will your brand be found? You need to fully understand how the agents are searching and what will make you stand out from the competition. Thank you, Playbook marketers, for listening to another episode. If you want to check out more pages of the Marketing Playbook, make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast spot and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Until next time, The devil is in the details.